With Hillary Clinton down by double digits in polls in New Hampshire, well, Bill Clinton is feeling the burn, so he decided to attack not just Bernie Sanders, but he also wanted to slander all of his supporters in the meantime. So when it comes to what Bernie Sanders supporters have been doing, the New York Times explains that Bill told the story of a female progressive blogger who defended Mrs. Clinton online through a pseudonym because he said the vitriol from Mr. Sanders' backers was so unrelenting. She and other people who have gone online to defend Hillary to explain why they supported her have been subject to vicious trolling and attacks that are literally too profane, not to mention sexist, to repeat. Yes, because the Bernie bros are presumably going around and harassing women everywhere. So unfortunately, I have some evidence of this as well. So let me show you this video here. So in the video, here's a woman being assaulted by a male because she is heckling Bernie Sanders about climate change. And he's trying to get her to sit down, so he put his hands on her, and she clearly does not like that. Oh, wait. Hang on, stop. We have to zoom out a little bit. So I think I made a mistake here. Let's go ahead and enlarge this image. Okay, nope, sorry, I made the mistake here. So this is actually a male Hillary supporter at a Hillary Clinton rally who put his hands on a woman and assaulted her.
Wait, no, wait.
I'm sorry, guys, I mixed this up. So, let's get back on track. So let's get to the Bernie bros again. So here is a Bernie bro telling a woman that she's a big letdown to women everywhere. Oh, hang on. I think I made another mistake. This is actually one of my female viewers who's a Bernie Sanders supporter who is being harassed by male Hillary Clinton supporters. Okay. So I guess that it seems as though there are bad people on both sides of the campaign. Who would have thunk it? So furthermore, gay Hillary Clinton supporters have sent me multiple tweets and messages saying that I need to fall in line as well. And anytime I, talk about Bernie Sanders on Twitter, I always am hit with an onslaught of attacks from Hillary Clinton supporters who call me delusional or tell me that they are, quote, burned out. Get it? Because his name is Bernie? Yeah. Vitriol is a problem, but it's a problem on both sides. So don't think that the Hillary Clinton campaign and her supporters are any less guilty of it. So getting back to Bill, I am so glad. I mean, I'm just so happy that he is worried about sexism now because he's always been the biggest warrior for women, right? I mean, all his life he stood up for women. No, oh right, actually, he's treated women like objects. Okay, so he's gonna speak out about sexism and women's rights now that it's politically convenient for him. Okay, that's not dirty, that's not disgusting. How about this, Bill? Here's a word of advice for you. How about you keep that little pecker in your pants, maybe for a couple more years, and then we'll actually believe that you give a damn about women and not just think of them as sexual objects as you've done for the entirety of your life. How about that? Please spare me. Don't tell me that you're worried about sexism, that you're worried about women's rights all of a sudden, when all your life that hasn't been the case. So now that it's politically expedient, Bill Clinton, of all people, ironically, is worried about sexism. Shameless. So he states, when you're making a revolution, you can't be too careful with the facts, Mr. Clinton said, deriding Mr. Sanders' oft-mentioned call for a political revolution. The former president, addressing a few hundred supporters at a junior high school here, portrayed his wife's opponent for the Democratic nomination as hypocritical, hermetically sealed, and dishonest. He even likened an incident last year in which Sanders staffers obtained access to Clinton campaign voter data to stealing a car with keys in it, and he also said that amounted to grand theft. Right. So it's Bernie Sanders and his supporters that are completely devoid of facts. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Because we have facts, that's why we don't support your wife. And that's why we don't like you or your policies while you were president. And furthermore, I like how he conveniently leaves out the fact that a Clinton staffer in 2008 accessed Barack Obama's campaign data. Are we just going to let this go to the side and not mention it? See, we don't apply the same standard of judgment to people who we like. Okay, because we can't be objective. That's not the way it works. Right, Bill? Is that what it is? Anyways, he also mocked Bernie Sanders. He said, anyone that doesn't agree with me is a tool of the establishment. Oh, that's what Bernie Sanders thinks. No, it's because the Clintons are synonymous with cronyism in Washington. Everyone in D.C. owes you and your wife a favor. Why? Because you campaign for them, and you owe other people favors because they donated to your campaign. Here's the deal, Bill. You and your wife both made millions in speaking fees. You guys have over $100 million. So I'm sorry that we don't believe you when you say that, you know, you want to regulate Wall Street, when you want to rein them in. I'm sorry if that makes us seem conspiratorial, as though we're just these kooks who are worried that maybe someone who is taking money from Goldman Sachs and gave speeches on their behalf might be beholden to them. I'm sorry that I seem like a Looney Tune for believing that Hillary Clinton stopped supporting universal health care as soon as she was given thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands in speaking fees to speak on the health insurance industry's behalf, and also since they donated to her campaign. I'm sorry that that makes me crazy. I'm the loony one. Now, he also critiqued universal health care. He said, is it good for America? I don't think so. Is it good for New Hampshire? I don't think so. Yes, because not dying or going bankrupt when you get sick, that's not good for people, right? No. See, what you're doing here, Bill, is immoral. See, you're deceiving Americans. You're putting politics above their own health and safety. I'm sorry, but 55% of all Americans and 81% of Democratic voters support universal health care. So these lines that you're spewing are bullshit, and we don't believe you. Hillary Clinton's own supporters don't even believe her. Now, finally, he complained Mrs. Clinton is suffering through attacks from a would-be purist who, he said, is in reality a veteran politician hardly unfamiliar with the ways of politics, citing Mr. Sanders' attendance at a lobbyist-filled Democratic fundraiser. Mr. Clinton expressed astonishment at this. I practically fell out of my chair when I saw it. Come on. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? See, they critique Bernie Sanders. They say he's not a real Democrat. He's an independent. He's not with us. So when he actually tries to support the party and go to a Democratic fundraiser, they attack him for it. Really? Now, here's the difference between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, Bill. He's not taking money from these lobbyists. Look at his campaign contributions, opensecrets.org. They're from the people. They're not from Time Warner. They're not from Goldman Sachs or the big banks. So, Bill, since you decided to attack Bernie Sanders, I made my piece, so let's go ahead and let the voters decide whether or not your critique on him will resonate. But I actually want to stop and talk about you, Bill. Let's talk about your policies, because you are just this, you know, Democratic hero, right? Even though you moved the party to the right and were a third-way Democrat, right? A self-proclaimed third-way Democrat who is going to get things done, meaning you'll just succumb to anything that the Republicans want. So let's talk about Bill. Bill Clinton signed Republican welfare into law, which just gutted welfare. Bill Clinton tried to privatize Social Security, but thankfully the Monica Lewinsky scandal stopped him from doing that because he didn't want to deal with that uphill political battle. Bill Clinton repealed Glass-Steagall and allowed banks to gamble with our money. Bill Clinton signed DOMA into law, which banned gay marriage at the federal level. Bill Clinton signed Don't Ask, Don't Tell into law, which banned gay people from serving openly in the military. Also, Bill, I remember the time when you signed NAFTA and shipped our jobs overseas. What about that? See, also, you got lots of African Americans and Latinos thrown in jail due to your idiotic 3 strikes policy, and you also fueled the private prison industry, and look at that, all of a sudden, it exploded. And furthermore, you ignored the Rwandan genocide and let 200,000 people die when you could have intervened and stopped it. So spare me. You're no Democratic hero.
Thanks for watching the Humanist Report. Don't forget to subscribe and check us out at humanistreport.com. And if you enjoy the podcast, disable your browser's ad blocker or consider becoming a sponsor.